My co-host today is ER doctor and soon-to-be law school graduate, well, maybe it'll be a little while longer, Dr. John Shufeldt, who's got the total campus gear wear going on. Dr. John, you're wearing shorts today on a television program.
I didn't know that was a no-no.
It's a no-no. No, it's not a no-no.
All right, good.
So you're ready to go to class?
Well, actually, I don't have class today. I've never had a class, but I don't have class on Friday.
But you can't go to the hospital like that. You could cut your leg,
No,
right?
I'm here.
Okay. But you're going to the hospital.
I don't think so.
You're not?
I'm taking the day off today.
You're taking the whole day off?
Taking the whole day off.
Man. Well, you know, we have a really great show today. You've got some cool technology you're going to be talking
Correct.
about.
Talk about the cyberknife. It's an extremely new form of treatment for cancer in previously unoperable and unradiation oncologible brain cancers and body cancers.
Okay. Well, we're going to check that out. But we thought it would be interesting, since you are an ER doctor and we're kind of doing this medical theme today, to talk about hospital fears. We all have them, but are they really based on reality? Do you have any hospital fears?
I'm scared when I walk into the hospital.
Really?
Not too bad. I mean, I think everybody's afraid to find out the unknown. And so you see people come in, and it's tragic. I've seen women come in with obvious breast cancer they've had for probably two years. And you're like, how could you not notice this? I thought, well, every morning I thought it would go away. I was hoping it would go away, but they knew in their mind it was bad, and they didn't really want to find out.
And usually when you're in a hospital, you've reached crisis. You know, I don't know. But, you know, a lot of people make fun of hospital fears. For me, it's not the food. I think it's, you know, not waking up. Oh, that little anesthesiology thing.
You just forget to wake you back up.
Oh, yeah, to turn that off. Yeah, anyway, but let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about this. Hollywood certainly has mimed all of these fabulous hospital fears. Take a look from this movie.
This world, it's dark inside of me.
Miss Fong? Miss Mercedes? Look, I don't quite know how to tell you guys this, but we lost them.
Dr. Carson, good news. We found Bob and Walt. Someone took them upstairs.
Oh, fantastic. By the way, the operation was a smashing success.
That's never happened to you. No way.
I'm not even sure what happened there. What did happen there?
I'm not either. What exactly happened there? Well, that's our attempt. You know, let's check in with our team to see if anybody has hospital fears. Just kind of move it along.
There you go.
Okay, Rachel, fabulous mom, both the humans and canines. Do you and Molly have any hospital anxieties? You know, Molly just had the
Well, you know, we have matching scars now. Mine from a C-section, and what I don't like about the hospital is I don't like to get up after surgery. It scares me. And Molly, she has a scar because she was spayed. We'll talk more about that later, but she doesn't like the spray bottle. They had to spray a little alcohol on her before she had her shot to go to sleep for surgery, and she cried. But I don't show that on the tape later. You'll see.
Hey, by the way, Molly is a true conehead. What's going on there?
You know what? I think we're going to find out later if Molly can be freed from this. Her vet is here to tell us if it's time to take the cone head off. She's been a good sport.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll check back with you in just a little while. You know what my other fear is, by the way? Demerol. I got drunk as a sailor taking Demerol in the hospital. They gave me Demerol, and I went crazy.
You know, actually, we rarely use Demerol anymore because it is pretty addictive, as people know. It causes seizures. And speaking of seizures, hey, John, what are your what are your fears?
John, wake up.
Having not gone, I've never had any major surgery ever in my life. But the one time I did stay overnight in a hospital was when my daughter was born. And the biggest fear I had was that the DVD player in the room wasn't going to work. But it did. And
wait a minute, John. I thought it would be like switching babies, you know, the health, the DVD player.
Well, yeah. Why? Is that wrong?
Yeah, that's wrong. That is really wrong. Yeah. Oh,
John's a deep introspective soul, isn't he?
Oh, yes, he is.
By the way, Doc, nice shorts.
I will never wear shorts on television again.
Is the weekend
I
carrying over to the show? You going to the pool or?
Well, he's got flip-flops on, too. I mean, it's not like it's tennis shoes and shorts.
It's Friday. It's dress-down day, isn't it?
Guess no one told him we'd be filming this.
Yeah.
I know. It's Monday.
No, it's okay. It's cash day
in
the world of Doctorland. Hey, also on today's show, you have teenagers, or you have a teenage son.
14.
Oh, boy. Well, I have twin daughters, 13. That's a load of fun.
Let's not get them together.
No. Forget it. Hey, a new study out is revealing that teenagers really do have different brains than adults. So we're going to find out why teens go kooky.
I've actually heard that exact same study, and it makes a lot of sense having a teenager.
Yeah, so hopefully you parent differently. I always thought it was just, you know, hormones, but there's actually some brain function. I guess if they don't get their sleep and this part's not developed, they act like
I need to stop
goofballs.
hitting them in the head and throwing them in the pool in the middle of the night just to kind of wake them up.
No, you can't
I'm like
do that.
Daddy Dearest.
Yeah, right. Can't do that. Need the wire hangers. Hey, is it better to pay off your mortgage faster? Lenore from Truist Credit Union will be here. In fact, it's Ask Lenore, John.
Excellent.
It's a new segment to answer that question. And, hey, this is great. Do you like music?
I love music.
To
and
relax?
music therapy.
Music therapy. You know, it's actually a very legitimate therapy that's used for a myriad of purposes. And today we're going to meet a music therapist, and actually a couple of them who use their talents to comfort hospice.
I see a harp. I love harp music.
Yes, in fact, hopefully we can do that. Good morning, ladies. Good morning. Could you play a little music and tell us a little bit about this?
Well, we are so honored to be here because we have this regularly for our patients and families at Hospice of the Valley to really reduce the fears. As you might know, this phase of life might be probably the scariest time that they have, so we bring in the harp and the music therapy to be able to calm the souls of the families and patients. And Lisa will play just a brief number that we had played recently for a transitioning patient.
Oh, that's wonderful. Joyce, you played beautifully. By the way, this is Joyce and Lisa, and we'll be talking with them. In fact, can you play just a little while? I love this music. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Joyce Bukers and Lisa Sampson with Hospice of the Valley, and we'll come back in just a little while. That is lovely. I want to take a little rest and a little nap now.
I'm back.
Are you back?
I'm back.
Okay. 24/7. Ready to go?
Yep.
Okay, we've got a whole lot on today's show. Coming up next, so let's talk all about those crazy teenagers unlocking the secrets of the teenage mind. Get a cup of coffee. It's going to be a tough one. Anyway, a lot more going on than we thought. We'll be right back.
You mean you couldn't or you wouldn't? It was like a full crowd scene at the food lines. Food will be eaten on your time. Why are you continuously late for this class, Mr. Spicoli? Why do you shamelessly waste my time like this?
I don't know.
I like that. I don't know. That's nice. Mr. Hand, will I pass this class? Gee, Mr. Spicoli, I don't know. That's nice. I really like that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave your words on this board for all my classes to enjoy. Giving you full credit, of course, Mr. Spicoli.
All right.
Okay, dude, you know teenagers, they're so cute sometimes, aren't they? But no, they're not. They're very wearing. What makes them tick? A recent study reveals that their brains are undergoing actually a host of structural changes that can actually explain the behaviors that make adolescence so exciting and, can we say, exasperating. And here with more is Mary Coons, child development specialist with the Cigna Medical Group, and Dr. John Shufeldt, my co-host today. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Okay, 13. You're here. You've got a 14-year-old.
I'm the 14-year-old. So can you explain Mr. Spicoli's behavior on Fast Times at Ridgemont High? Is that typical?
It is typical. You know, we used to think that brain development stopped at about 12 because it's an adult size by then. And even some developmental theory kind of put the qualitative aspect of development stopping around 12. But we know now from recent MRI studies that there's a big change in a big part of development that goes on all the way up to 25. where there's a big proliferation of neurons, and then the process of pruning, where the ones that are not used die off, and actually sculpting of the whole brain.
Okay, wait a minute. We have to go to layman's terms. I have to keep this in, sort of the third grade level. So what's happening to a teenager? I know they need more sleep. What is the research specifically saying? Obviously, the brain is growing, but is that why they just space out and make really poor decisions sometimes?
The brain is changing, and it seems that it changes from back to front. So the front part of the brain is the last to be developed, and that's where the center for executive function lies.
Concentration, orientation, judgment, all the things that drive you crazy. And
making decisions, planning, prioritizing, looking ahead at consequences, long-term planning.
Now I get it.
All of those things are executive function, and that's really not there yet.
Ah.
So I guess interestingly, the hormone part is there without the consequence part.
Exactly.
So how does that mix things up
We
more?
always used to blame it all on hormones, and that still plays an important part.
Yeah.
It turns out that the hormones particularly affect a part of the brain that is seeking intense experience. And so that's that risk-taking that teenagers do. And, the disconnect here is that the hormones are pushing them for this risk-taking, intense emotion and experiences, but that executive function part of the brain is not there to help control the impulses and to make good decisions about that.
Okay, so basically you're just in trouble until they're what, 25? I mean, what do you do?
Well, think of the implications of this. I mean, they're trying kids as adults. They're trying 14-year-olds as adults, and now you're trying to. And really, the kids are clearly don't have that reasoning. Although they understand it, they probably can't control it. That's a good point. So.
And this research has actually brought up a lot of legal questions about that. Absolutely.
What else does the research show?
Well, the research shows that there's also some differences in the way they interpret emotions and other people's emotions. I remember one of my sons always thought I was mad at him, and I'm like, mad? I'm scared at what you did. This isn't mad. They tend to interpret emotions a little differently. And so I think that we have to be really clear with teens about communications and feelings, because sometimes they don't get it like an adult does. I think we also need to think about that executive function, that they do not respond to long-term consequences. Parents think long,
So you can't ground them their entire junior year like I know happened to a good friend of mine.
Yeah, or for life is one I know. But,
I've tried that before. It was only a day. Didn't work.
Yeah, your threats about you're not going to get a good job, you're not going to get into college, those kind of things, they have no concept of that. And clearly we know why now, because they don't have that kind of long-term planning. So it needs to be immediately. It's not that you're going to get a bad grade at the end of the semester. You're going to lose phone time tomorrow if you don't finish this. It has to be immediate things.
So this is obviously relatively new. How come we didn't know this before?
I think parents did kind of know this before. Intuitively, parents kind of did see some of these things, that they weren't really ready to make certain decisions, that they needed a lot more structure and guidance. And so parents...
I think a lot of parents think, it's only my kid who's like this.
Oh, there you go.
And so they don't, it's never been qualitative, and now with the technology, it's probably finally scientific back, as opposed to, wow, it's just not my kid, it's all teenagers.
That's right. We've got some science to back us up as parents.
So it sounds like for parents, number one, get the research, find out what's going on, maybe be a little forgiving, a little more patient.
Exactly.
Do you know how difficult that is to do?
We need to recognize that they're not all done yet. I think we need to provide a lot more structure than maybe we thought, that we need to guide them through some important decisions.
And yet they want independence.
We need to let them make the decision, but we maybe need to guide them through the steps, to suggest alternatives, to point out consequences that they maybe can't see unless we help them. I agree we need to let them make the decision, but we need to they have to be kind of led along that path to make one.
Right.
The other thing I want to point out about this is this idea of sculpting. The idea of the MRI studies, it shows that it's use it or lose it. Neurons die off that are not used. And so when you think about that pruning and sculpting, what activities do you want your teen's brain to be sculpted by?